Hello, fellow entrepreneur and website owner. If you are unhappy with how your website is performing and it's not getting enough sales and conversions, then stick around because today's e-tip is all about 6 things that your website must have in order to create the kind of success that you're after with your business. Hi, I'm Friesen with eVision Media, bringing you tips and strategies on how to help build your business without the overwhelm and frustration that often comes with it. So let's get right into it. The first thing that you need to make sure that your website has is consistent and professional branding. And that means that the visual representation of your website needs to be consistent across the board so that what people see on your website is also what they see in your social media and on your business cards and your flyers and everything else that you use in your marketing and promotional materials. Consistency is the key here. And not only that, consistency and being professional. It needs to look professional. If you have an amateurish looking website or a homemade looking website, then you're not going to attract the paying kind of client that you want to have in your business. And the reason for that is that we literally have 5 seconds to make an impact. That first impression on somebody is what is going to make or break a sale on your website. So it doesn't matter how revolutionary your product is, how incredibly amazing the service or product that you have. It doesn't matter, because if you've turned off the people who have come to your website and they won't stick around long enough to find out just how amazing of a product or service that you provide. So the look and feel of your website is extraordinarily important, and make sure that you have that first impression working for you, working with you instead of against you. So get a professional brand done, and that will take care of that. And also make sure that the design of your website, the look and feel of your website, is in alignment with your brand so that it actually appeals to your target market, the people that you want to work with or you want to purchase your product. So make sure that you don't design something that you personally love. Like, as an example, if you are a fan of purple like I am, and you do everything in purple, well, that just might turn off people. It might not be all that appealing. So go ahead and use purple. We do have purple in our branding colors, but don't overdo it. Just because you love the color purple doesn't mean everybody will. And so the next thing to keep an eye out for and have a must-have on your website is SEO optimization. And that means search engine optimization. And so you want to make sure that your website is not only built in a way that the search engines will easily find you and index you, but it also needs to be keyword rich so that the search engines will pick up those keywords and produce your website to those who are doing a search for your type of product or service that you're providing. Don't underestimate the power of this. Many people that I talk to, they think that SEO is not for them because they don't understand it. First of all, they think that it's something that they can't afford to do, or they just don't understand it, so they don't think about it, they disregard it. But what it is the more your website is search engine optimized, the more people will find you organically. And organically means finding you when they do a search in the search engine. But because you are competing with millions of other websites, you need to do some efforts to make sure that the people that you want to find your website are using keywords that you are also incorporating into your website. So those keywords need to be in several different places, like your meta tags, the title tag, in the description tag of your website, the URL, the HTTP part, the URL needs to have your keywords in there too. Often I find entrepreneurs that say they have a book, their URL will be, their website.com/book. Well, that doesn't mean anything, right? So instead of book, have the actual title of the book in the URL so that the keyword is in there that people will find if they were looking for your type of book. The other thing that you want to make sure you have in place is even to optimize the images that are on your website. The alt tag should have those keywords in it. The name of the image can be keyword optimized. And then of course, the actual copy that is within the website, the text that is on the website has to have those keywords too. And so all of this requires a certain expertise. So don't be shy about reaching out and finding somebody who understands search engine optimization, or a copywriter who writes for SEO optimization, but also understands the business and the branding and the marketing component of what you're trying to accomplish as well. The next thing that you want to have as a must-have with your website is it needs to be responsive. And responsive means that it is friendly for the smaller smartphones. And years ago, websites were on your laptop or on your desktop with a nice big monitor, and you know, us as designers were able to make it picture perfect with the layout that we had. But ever since the evolution of the smartphone, we've had to evolve into how to create websites from a technical perspective and make sure that as that screen gets smaller, the website is still easy to see, so people looking at your website on their smartphone can easily read it. And what the responsive part means is that your website goes from a large size, and then as the screen gets narrower, it goes into a column format. So you end up with this singular column of your website where everything just kind of starts to shift into a column, and that's responsive. Years ago, when smartphones started to come onto the scene and the web developers were starting to pay attention to that, we sometimes would create two different versions of a website. One would be your regular desktop version, and another would be specifically for the smartphone, and the browser would detect what size of a browser this website was looking at, and then show you that version. And lots of websites are still done today that way, but the biggest problem with that is keeping them both up to date at the same time. And so if you update your website on your desktop version, you have to make sure that you do that same update on the smaller version. And at the end of the day, that redundancy really isn't necessary. The way websites are built with responsiveness in mind takes care of that. It's one website that matches any kind of browser size that might be being used. And again, don't discount the importance of this. If you are thinking that your target market doesn't use a smartphone, think again. And you might be thinking that because you yourself don't really use a smartphone all that much, so you just assume that the people that you do business with also don't. But that is a dangerous assumption to make. And so the stats are like it's over 50% of people are on their smartphone nowadays when they are surfing the web. So you have to make sure you accommodate them. So if your website was built like 5 years ago, the chances are really good that it is not smartphone friendly. So get a hold of your web developer or give us a call, and it's time to convert that over so that you are not losing that market. Because remember back in tip number 1, when I said that it has to be appealing to your target market, well, that's part of it. If they're coming onto your website on their smartphone and they have to squish it and pinch out in order to be able to read anything, that is annoying, and they will leave. They will not have the patience to stick around and try to find what they are looking for, especially if you are not somebody that they know. And they are just kind of doing some window shopping to try and find the right solution to their problem. All right, and so the next thing that you want to be making sure that you have on your website is some way of list building. And list building is in place for the reason that the odds are really good that if somebody happens to find your website through a search engine or through social media or whatever, the odds are slim that they're going to convert right away into a paying customer, especially if you are offering higher priced offerings, or if if you have a service-based industry. And but if you have a shopping cart system, like if it's an online store, then the odds are better that they're going to stick around and make a purchase. But if you offer some kind of a online downloadable program or consultation or a service, then you want to accommodate those who are not ready to make a buying decision right at that very moment. And in order to do that, you want to collect their name and email address so that you can nurture them as time progresses, and then when they are ready to make that purchase, they remember you. You have been kept top of mind through your ongoing newsletters that you send out, and then they will reach out to you and get a hold of you that way. And so a list building is often done by offering some sort of a free download, either a downloadable PDF file or an audio file or a video series, anything that you can offer for free that is appealing to your target market, and they would find it enough value for them to give their name and email address for. And the next part is to have a solid marketing message. And this one is super important because I find that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially those who create their own websites, they make their website all about them. And so it's, I do this, these are the products that I provide, or this is the service that I provide, this is who I am, this is what I'm all about. And unfortunately, to the person who is reading that, they're kind of getting, going, well, what about me? Like I'm the one who wants to be sold to, and I'm sure you're great, but are you going to be able to help me? A website needs to immediately give the person who has visited the impression that they've landed in the right place, and they want to be reassured that you understand what challenge or problem or whatever it is that they're looking for. You understand what that is, and that you are there to help them. And so you want to talk in terms of you and your instead of me and I. And so having a professional copywriter to help you with that is really an important investment to make in your business, because they understand not only that component of it, but also the emotional charging that needs to happen in order to get your potential customer excited about the idea of going that next step with you. They need to be able to read the copy on your website and get that energy going and going, oh my God, I think I found the right place. I think I've just found exactly what I'm looking for. That's the kind of response that you want from the people that are coming to your website. And that's not easy to do. And so having a professional copywriter can really help you with that part of the brand messaging that's on your website. And the last thing that is a must-have on your website is to make it easy for people to get a hold of you. And so if you have an online store, then you have to have a customer service phone number, and it's usually located up in the top right-hand corner of the website. At any point throughout the shopping experience on your website, people need to have that reassurance that at any moment in time, they can pick up the phone and they can ask a question. Whether they do or not is kind of irrelevant. It's the idea that they can that makes them feel like they can trust you enough to go ahead and give you their credit card information through the checkout process. So even if you don't have an online store and you have a regular brochureware website, or you're selling a product or a program, and that also has a buy now button, that contact information is there for more to help them feel reassured that there is a real person behind the scenes that, again, they can pick up the phone at any time and reach out to. So it elicits that trust that you need on an online environment in order to make those sales. It's not as if people can walk into your storefront and make that purchase, right? So you have to give them as many opportunities as possible to allow people to trust you. And now I know that this is a kind of a sticky situation because a lot of entrepreneurs work out of their home and they're worried about their privacy. They're worried about their phone number being hacked or spammed or you know, terrorized or whatever it is, right? And so you need to find a way. At the end of the day, you need to find a way to have a phone number, a way for people to contact you by phone, as well as an online form submission. So if it's 3 in the morning, they can type out a form and know that they will get a response back. You are running a business here, and even though you are running it out of your home, you still need to treat it as if it were a business. So hiding behind your website and not having any contact information except for an email address, that doesn't give people the kind of a reassurance that they are that you're legitimate. And so you want to make sure that you got that trust factor working in your favor. And then along the same lines of that trust factor is you also want to make sure that you have a strong call to action on every page. So after you have written out whatever it is that is pertaining to that page, that call to action at the bottom should send people to the contact page or to any other way, you know, as your next step. So now that you've read this, click here and go to the next step. That is a call to action. And so you don't want to just leave people hanging at the bottom of that page and not being told what to do next. Even though in your mind it might be obvious, when we're working in online terms, we have to make it step-by-step clarity for the people visiting our website. And so if it's an About Us page, you know, to find out more about how I can help you, contact me here, and that contact me here clicks over to your contact page. And so that's your 6 must-haves that your websites nowadays need to have in place. There's more things that your website should have, and I'll talk about those more in detail in other e-tips, but these are your must-haves that you really need to have in place. And if you don't have these 6 items in place, and give us a call. You know, you need to find a web developer who understands the bigger spectrum of what is happening here, from your branding to your marketing to the web development, the search engine optimization, building a website that is search engine optimized and not one of those prefabricated templates that are built really badly and they don't get indexed very well because they're so burdened down with so much excess code that the search engines like Google don't really pick it up all that well. So you might be thinking that you're saving money by getting one of those prefabricated templates, but it's working against you in many other ways. What we do is we design and develop websites that are custom built for exactly your needs and to meet your goals and to appeal to your target market. So if you want help from a professional web development and online marketing company, give us a call. And of course, if you have any questions at all, please leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll be happy to answer. And that's it. I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.